Good morning, everyone. I'm Charmaine Williams, and I am the Dean of the Factor-Inwentash Faculty of Social Work. I'm so very glad to welcome you here. I hope you'll bear with me as I do a brief land acknowledgement. The University of Toronto is on the traditional lands of the Huron-Wendat, the Senecas, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. As people working and learning here on Treaty 13 territory, we recognize and respect our joint responsibility for stewarding and taking care of this land. Today, on this land, we are going to have a very exciting announcement, and I'm so very glad to welcome our guests, Minister Seamus O'Regan, Marta Hyek and her colleagues from Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario, other community collaborators, people from the Public Health Agency of Canada, and also faculty, students, and staff that are here with us to share this moment. I'm going to start by turning things over to Minister O'Regan. Please join me in welcoming the Honourable Seamus O'Regan Jr, Minister of Labour and Seniors.
Thank you, Dean Williams. Dr. Burns, Marta, great to have everybody here. And thank you for having me back. I love, every time I visit the University of Toronto, I'm always so engaged, so energized. You know, the questions, the ideas, the possibilities, the passion that so many of you feel here in this university, and particularly on this topic. It's inspiring and it's reassuring. It really is. We're attempting to do some big things right now. $10 a day childcare, it's huge. A national dental care plan, huge, particularly for seniors. Then, of course, we're trying to lower emissions and build up renewables and grow an economy that includes everyone. And the success of everything that we do depends on a clear picture of where we actually are in this country and real new solutions for how to get where we want to go. And that depends on researchers like you. Comme ministre pour les aînés, la dignité est mon travail. Je veux que tous les aînés du Canada puissent veiller dans la dignité. C'est une question de qualité de vie. As the Minister of Seniors, my job's dignity. I want to make sure that every senior in Canada can age with dignity. And that comes down to more than just longevity. It's about quality of life. There is no dignity in living with abuse, in living with shame, in living with fear or isolation. And that is what elder abuse does to seniors. The federal government recently released a clear definition for the mistreatment of older persons. We define it as a single or repeated event that involves a person, a group, a community, or an organization, and occurs within a relationship where there is an expectation of trust. When an act, word, attitude, or lack of appropriate action causes or risks causing negative consequences for an older person. But I really think the key word in there is trust. The fact that we chose to create a definition across the government about what elder abuse really is just speaks to what a pertinent an issue this has become. If we're going to effectively create policies and make investments to address a problem, we need to define it. It's an uncomfortable, disturbing issue and an overwhelming one, I think, to tackle. And thankfully, there are very passionate, compassionate, and ambitious minds out there who want to take it on. Some of them right in front of me. So, I'm happy to say that we are investing $800,000 in funding to the University of Toronto. This funding will go towards RISE, a community program designed to combat elder abuse. And I'm very happy to announce this on behalf of my friend Ya'ara Saks. She's the Minister of Health and Addictions and Associate Minister of Health. I'll say a little bit here, but I really want to hear from you, some brilliant minds leading this work. The program will focus on involving family and friends, as well as formal support services, to change the relationship between the person experiencing abuse or mistreatment and the person causing harm. They're going to gather evidence about what strategies are working to prevent abuse, for whom they work best, and in what situations they can have the greatest impact. This project is funded through the Health Agency of Canada's Preventing and Addressing Family Violence, the Health Perspective Program. And PHAC invests up to $10 million a year to deliver and evaluate interventions that prevent intimate partner violence, child maltreatment, and mistreatment of older persons. These investments are so important. I think I speak for most Canadians when I say that the work that you're doing has always mattered, but I am acutely grateful for it today. Because one thing that has become very clear to me lately is that we are not over COVID. We are not over COVID. COVID is not over for most people. And it is certainly not over for anyone who has experienced long-term care systems during those years. The patients, the workers, the loved ones who were helpless to do anything for their family. There are a lot of people living with severe trauma and anxiety. Work that is combating abuse or mental illness is so needed right now. So thank you. Thank you very much, and I'll hand it back to Dean Williams. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister O'Regan, for those thoughtful and inspiring remarks. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. David Burns, who is a professor here at the Factor-Inwentash Faculty of Social Work and Canada Research Chair. He is also the co-founder of RISE. Please come to the podium.
Thank you, Dean Williams. I would like to begin by thanking the Honourable Minister Seamus O'Regan for being here today, for bringing attention to the issue of elder mistreatment, and for supporting our work. It's a real honor. 1 in 10 older adults living in the community across Canada experience some form of elder mistreatment each year, including abuse, neglect, or financial exploitation. This translates to nearly 900,000 older adults each year in Canada. Elder mistreatment victimization is associated with major consequences, including premature mortality, poor mental and physical health, low quality of life, social isolation, as well as increased rates of hospitalization, emergency service use, and nursing home placement. Unlike other forms of family violence that occur earlier in life, such as child maltreatment, we currently do not have an organized system of response in the community for cases of elder mistreatment. In fact, when you ask, most people have no idea what to do or who to call if they have an older parent, grandparent, sibling, patient, client who they have concerns about. RISE was developed to provide a solution for and address this gap in the system. It's one of the first evidence-based programs worldwide dedicated to the prevention and response of elder mistreatment in the community, demonstrating evidence of feasibility, acceptability, and improvement in case outcomes. Specifically, RISE has shown to significantly reduce rates of recidivism, or cases coming back into the system. It has also garnered interest from and been scaled across multiple locations in North America. Funded by the Public Health Agency of Canada, and in partnership with Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario, for the first time, we have developed a straightforward framework as a community-based response system for elder abuse in Ontario. Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario has a centralized telephone number where people from across the province can call in with concerns. At that point, calls go through an initial consultation and screening process for eligibility. Eligible cases then are referred to RISE to undertake direct response and prevention work. We can take referrals from older adults themselves, concerned others in the lives of older adults, professionals, and service providers who work with older adults. And as a part of this funding, we are testing this response framework within the context of a randomized control trial, representing one of the most rigorous pieces of intervention research in the field to date. In closing, I would like to thank the Honourable Minister O'Regan again for your support in the well-being and safety of older adults in Canada. I would like to thank the Public Health Agency of Canada for supporting this work, as well as Jessica, Julie, Emma, and Veronique at PHAC. I would like to thank our partner, Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario, as well as Dean Williams, the Factor-Inwentash Faculty of Social Work, and the University of Toronto for their support. I would also like to thank other organizations, including the Canadian Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse and the Centre for Research and Education on Violence Against Women and Children. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, I would like to thank those on the front line who do this work on a day-to-day basis, including Chanel Small, Steph Canont, and Andrea Allen at RISE, and Laura Osler and Laura Proctor at Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario. Together, we will make a real difference. We already are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Burns, and thank you for leading with your team this amazing and very important work. Next, I'd like to invite to the podium Marta Hyek, Chief Executive Officer of Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Williams. Minister, Dr. Burns, colleagues, and community partners. As the CEO of Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario, it is my distinct honor to join you here today to convey our appreciation for the support the federal government, through PHAC, is investing in research such as the RISE project. Knowledge sharing opportunities like this one are invaluable and not only act as a catalyst for social change, but empower us all who interact with older adults to be able to effectively assist them when they need it most, when they are experiencing abuse. The world as we knew it pre-pandemic has changed, and our approach to dealing with the continued trajectory of escalating complex issues of elder abuse, which are rooted in ageism, they too must change. To achieve that, we must be properly versed in current practices and promising approaches about what is effective, what is required, and how we each of us fits in as service professionals or members of civil society to tackle abuse and protect the dignity and human rights of older persons. Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario is proud to be the collaborative partner in the RISE project led by Dr. Burns to advance the development of effective intervention models that are scalable and can be implemented across all jurisdictions. The potential for creating effective systemic response pathways must be realized and must be realized now. We know that older adults 65 years of age not only outnumber those of 15 years of age in Canada, but that this is also the fastest growing demographic, and it's set to double within this decade. Taking proactive decision and decisive actions to sustainably support this population is within our reach. Not doing so means continuing strain on health, safety resources, and most importantly, a diminished quality of life for citizens who have contributed to the public good and society as a whole. RISE is an evidence-based intervention program which is demonstrating high levels of client engagement. It is one of those avenues exemplary in its resolve to tackle the pervasive and insidious elder abuse crisis in our country. Already we are seeing positive impacts on the life of those who are supported through RISE. Clients are grateful for this lifeline. When they are at their lowest and have no one to turn to, RISE is making a difference. We recognize the importance of informing all who care for, interact with, or support an older adult to feel empowered to be able to act. By raising public awareness through educational forums and training frontline service providers, we can, and more effectively as a community, shift and reverse those disturbing trends of abuse. To the researchers, to the advocates, the project team, a special word of thanks. Your continued diligence and resolve in tackling this important issue is beyond words. RISE is working, and Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario is grateful for the government's support, working with us to be part of this transformational journey in caring for older adults in Canada. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marta. I think on a day like today, you just have to be so glad that, that there are people who are so committed to the causes. I think of my own parents. As I think about my own path to being an older person, it is reassuring to know that people are innovating and working on these issues. So that concludes the speaking portion of our event today. I will now pass the floor over to the moderator for any media questions.